button right here. All right, blast her over to the old work table. This isn't actually my table. How's everybody doing? My next little video going on here. This is actually going to be a battle map that I created. There's just a couple of things that I wanted to get to first. I get a lot of questions. A lot of people, hit me up in the comments and ask me certain things. So I try and answer a couple of these things, but one of them is storing custom models. One of the problems with Tabletop Simulator is that these models go bunk sometimes. People will store them on things like TinyPic, and TinyPic is no more. So all of those images just get all sort of messed up and screwed. Also, sometimes, the model links and whatnot. That's basically the gist of it, is the links go dead. When a dead link pops up, you get errors loading maps and stuff like that. So somebody has taken the time to sort of redo a bunch of models. I think I gotta scooch this over to the right monitor, come to think of it, and let's go to click over to right monitor here, because what I need to show you is the games, and we want to go to workshop. This table that we're looking at right now is called Miscellaneous RPG Models Upload. Info on this table, which is why I need to be on the right monitor, because you don't see the pop-ups through Streamlabs when I'm streaming to the TV or to Twitch. I mean to the TV when I'm streaming to the TVs. So miscellaneous RPG models re-upload. A lot of the models that are bunk and screwed up you can find are fixed in here. This was put together by a guy named Schnem. And it's just a bunch of assets that he has taken and then put back onto the Steam Workshop, which is pretty sweet. So some of those assets include things like these little marketplace stalls and stuff like that. There's a bunch of gold coins on a table. This piece in the corner, where did it go to? Over here? Maybe this big piece over here. This piece looks weird for some reason, and I'm not 100% sure why it looks like that, but I thought there was a rocky piece on this table, or a rocky corner piece or something like that I had put in one of my dungeons. This must be it. Yeah, this is it. I'm just looking at it weird. I had this in one of my tables that has to do with the underworld stuff. It's like in a little nook and cranny in the corner, but the model went bunk. Along with these cool looking things too, these like skulls hanging off ropes and stuff, and there's an axe with or a tree stump with an axe in it. So yeah, there's a lot of little dungeon trinkets on this table that this guy's created and fixed. The swamp maps and stuff that I had little things like this on it, little pots and pans and little baskets. So this is a great table for doing like little bits of dungeon fluff and stuff like that. Miscellaneous tables is pretty sweet. What else is on the list? On the list is a thing that I called creating adventures. One of the things that I wanted to show you guys is, I don't know why I must not put it up often enough, or put it up in a way that makes sense. But a lot of times I get questions like how to access my stuff. If you go to the games workshop and you hit browse, like my stuff is going to automatically come up here. Your workshop files, your files you've posted. You can just do a search for Murder Hobo and it should pop up. Let's actually check and see if that works right now. That would probably be the smart thing to do. If I go to browse, type in murder, put it in here. Let's see what comes up. And of course it doesn't. Oh, that's freaking awesome. Right, so how do you find my stuff? I guess I should look this up so that I know how to find my stuff. Joe? Nope, that's not there either. That's actually really weird. Okay, well, in order to find my stuff, you can type in one world table with images, and then that should come up. Also, you can add me as a friend, And by adding me as a friend, then you can like search my stuff and check out my files. I guess I need to make this a little more prevalent. Apparently I can't talk tonight. Anyways, okay, so one of the things that I've created is, where are we at here? Actually, I haven't checked this table out in a while, so this will be good too. If I go to games and I go to the workshop and see if I can't find it in here. Back a couple of pages right here. ICRPG for King and Country. Let's load this table up. Hit me up in the comments and let me know what you guys think of this idea, because what I'm thinking of doing is putting out sort of like a complete module. I don't want to do any of the writing or any of that stuff, but there is a video that I have that details some of the stuff that's on this particular table. And in that video, I basically, the video is about an hour long, so you know it'd take you about that long to read a PDF or read a thing, and you can do it yourself. But the gist of it is that the module, sort of the scenes are already built. What I'm thinking of doing is combining 3 scenes together, putting them in a group, throwing them on a table, and then doing a video on how I would run an adventure through these scenes, and then you guys could just watch the video. And then you could just go play the game your own way. You know, just take my suggestions and my ideas without me having to write it down. I'll put the tables together and set it up that way. So it's just, it would be like, I don't know how to explain that. It's kind of like me building the adventure or building a module or an adventure or something like that. I think I just said that. And you're off to the races. Just, you know, sort of pre-built to play. You show up, it's already pre-done for you, is kind of what I'm getting at. I think I might try and throw something like that together. Let's shoot back to my my main table so that I can get rid of that weird looking goofy stuff and I don't have to crane my neck. Go over to my work table. Need to hit a few of the last notes. While this is loading, I would like to introduce good old Pete Jones. Pete Jones has a YouTube channel and a podcast called Dragons Are Real. I think I can just look up Pete Jones, but of course I've been wrong so many freaking times that I don't know if I can. I'm going to have to find that link to Pete's stuff. Here's my work table. A couple other things that I got to do too. Man, I got stuff on the go. Okay, let's start with this. Let's start with, not games, objects, saved objects. If you play ICRPG, thanks to Marcus Bergraff for helping with the, pretty much not helping, he pretty much did the deck. I did this deck so that they're all similar. I'm kind of clicking all over the place. Saved, ICRPG, cards. You've got the cursed deck. What else is in here? The ancient deck. Shabby loot. And the sci-fi loot. On the, let's do this. The cancel. So the ICRPG custom table, custom game table. If you look that up in the stuff that I've saved, this is one of the tables that I've pumped out to the workshop. On this table, you simply just wait for it to load. I don't know why it takes a second there. Smash the load, lock. And the first table that pops up is going to be the core. If you hit the build button on the core, this is all of my ICRPG stuff. Now, if you don't play ICRPG, this table has a bunch of minis on it with the timers, or not the timers, like the health trackers that you can use. This wouldn't be helpful to you. Here's the click roller that I use if you don't want to have to look for that. Mostly, if you're playing ICRPG, we have these decks of cards. Here's all 5. I've uploaded them to this table, so they're available. The latest one is the Bizarre Loot. Flip this sucker over. Bizarre Loot is going to do a thing like a translator tapeworm. Increases appetite, speak and understand all spoken languages. You can use this in Dungeons and Dragons no problem if you're playing D&D. It's perfectly suited for ICRPG. The gist of this is when you guys, or when your party goes into an area and they search something and you just want to give out random loot, there's 400 or 500 cards of random loot right now, depending, sort of themed. You've got crappy loot, which is sort of shabby, which isn't really that crappy. There's some cool stuff in there. Ancient loot, cursed loot, and then the latest one is bizarre loot. There'll be epic and possibly one other one that I'm still working on, but these things, they take time to get built. You want to use this in your D&D game. The point of the one heart is it takes 10, one heart is 10 hit points, or 10 points basically. You would have to roll intelligence, beat a 12, and with basic damage, which is just rolling a d4. So you can imagine, best case scenario, you're doing this in 3 rounds playing ICRPG. But don't use it. If you don't like it, don't use it in D&D. Just give this item out, and the guy's got a translator tapeworm for random loot. Here's a folding road. Unfold 1 mile of wagon width road at any location. Kind of cool. A small chest inside is always freezing cold items. It's always freezing cold. Just cool stuff like that. So the bizarre loot now available on the ICRPG table. Did I put anything else there? I put that on the ICRPG table, and I also put this target on the ICRPG table. This was made by, I wrote it down here. So the scene number difficulty token was made by I'm a Target. I just pasted it here so that there's cool, because I use this now. I think it's a cool ICRPG thing. You can actually right-click on it and change the difficulty. It has pretty slick graphics. These, they get a little deadlier as you go sort of higher up. Assuming 11 would be 20. Yeah, see there's skulls on it. Shows you what easy, shows you what hard is. You can see it from both sides. Cool little token. It replaces this one on mine, so that when you're across the table, if you're looking down in the table or something like that, you can sort of still see it without having to scroll up and look over and take a peek and see what my flat one says right here. Actually, I think I could change this to be upright. But anyways, very cool. So that's on the table, and the new Bizarre cards are on the table. And if you like D&D, come and steal these cards. You can subscribe to this table, take all of this stuff for free, take these cool click rollers, which work really well. Probably some of the best dice rollers that I've seen. I hit the wrong button there. The cool part about this dice roller, you can roll multiple dice. Not a problem. It's going to roll them. But here's the cool part. Each one of them is color-coded. So when I roll, you can barely make that out. Let me move down here. Not only does it put the color out in the chat, but it color-codes each dice. So red is a D4. Let me hit enter. White is a D6. Blue is a D10. Orange is 12. 8 is... What is 8? 8 is... Which one of you is green? 8 is the 10-sided. Once you get used to it, you see how it sort of comes in order. The dice don't always land at the same time. So if you roll multiple dice and it pumps out to the chat channel, you don't sometimes know which dice rolled which number. But because these ones are color-coded, you know that the 10-sided dice rolled, because it's green, rolled the 4. In this case, the top case, I got a hair in my mouth, man. In the top case, the 4, which is the D12, landed before the 10. And what is purple? Purple's 20. And then there you go. So you know which dice rolled which is kind of cool. It also pumps out to chat. It also cleans the dice up. You can also do things like zoom in on this little area here. If you hit Control 1, it's going to save the camera scene. So when you're playing the game and you're way off over to this side, looking on this corner of the map with your characters, if you hit Shift 1, you go shooting right back to where your view is, and you're right up to the dice roller, no farting around. Very cool. Pumps the dice out, shows you the number in chat. Everybody knows, nobody's looking for stuff. I know that they rolled the right dice because the dice color's purple. Great, great dice roller. Cleans everything up. Fantastic. Okay, so I went over creating adventures. Miscellaneous models from reuploaded. I checked that off the list. The new card deck, the bizarre loot. Did that, and let's go to games. Last on the list of things that I wanted to talk about. Let's hit my, not my personal play table. Where's me work table? Oh, so while this is loading, let's shoot over to the old right monitor. It's not even in the list yet, but I will find it. I am part of a group called the Nerds International. We're just a bunch of gamers. You can see me up right here, hiding in the top here. Here's me co-host, Uncle Jay. We got Daryl. Man, it's so sad when I point Tony. Tony, and Tony's back here. Tony runs Genesis with, of course, name blank. There's Matt Stark. Anyways, we got a bunch of people from the Nerds International. There's Harrison from 3T Podcast in the back. So yeah, bunch of fine folks. We get together, go to Con on the Cob, and I'm killing myself because I can't remember what his name is right now. Oh my god. So anyways, this is a group that I'm part of. We got a bunch of shows on the network. I'm also part of the Wild Eye Podcast, which is a Savage Worlds only, or Savage Worlds specific podcast. I've been doing that now for about 4 years. In that time, because it's so specific and I wanted to talk more about RPGs, my co-host Eric Lamoureux gave me the Murder Hobo show that he was sort of building up and realized he didn't have time for. So I got it. But as well as doing the Wild Eye podcast, I have the Murder Hobo show. We have 3T RPG podcast. These guys do a bunch of English blokes that do a bunch of funny stuff. Dragon's Toolbox is our friend Stefan. He writes just different blogs, but there's a bunch of shows on the network. Finding the Narrative is a Genesis RPG podcast. So if you like Genesis, we talk about that. But you can find us at MeWe. It's one of the things that I put on my table there at the intro screen. Blunk. You can see right there, Nerds International over on MeWe. And sort of that's just, I just wanted to sort of throw that out there. If you're interested in getting a hold of me or us, or maybe playing some games with us and whatnot, that's where you'll find us, over here at the Nerds International. And our newest member is Pete Jones. And I can't believe that I cannot find Pete Jones' video. He's doing stuff for Map Tools. Maybe his podcast is Dragons Are Real. Map Tools. Let's try that. Let's give this a shot and see. Yay. Whoa. Pause. Right monitor. Here we go. Dragons Are Real podcast is the name. I should have known that that's what it was. He is the latest and the greatest to come. He's got a wicked podcast about a bunch of cool stuff. I should really stop advertising, just get back to my table, because I know a lot of you guys probably aren't interested in this stuff. But Dragons Are Real podcast, man. He's got 50 some odd episodes, talks about everything, does reviews on different systems and settings and all sorts of weird, cool stuff. I believe he's an old retired Bobby or a fireman, maybe fireman, from England. So yeah, give him a look, give him a listen. It's very interesting to see what people are doing across the pond. All right, so with that out of the way, because I needed to get that in there too, talk about Pete Jones. Let's get to the last bit of it here, which is main cam, no TTS. There's a couple other things. While I'm loading the table, I also get a lot of comments about Fog of War stuff. Now, I don't use Fog of War because I'm just not that worried about it, I guess would be the thing. Like, I don't care if my players see the map for half a second. That stuff doesn't bother me. You'll find, or maybe you've seen this before, but when somebody rolls a D20, the second they pick it up, they forget about it. I kind of feel that, most people are like that. They might look at it for a second and try and find a thing. If you're sort of worried about hidden rooms and stuff like that right out of the gate, maybe throw up the blinds. Blinds kind of suck. There really is just no good way in TTS to do it. This is the latest map. Let me click over on this one and go to Patreon while you guys are checking this out. Zoom out and show you this map. I think this map is spectacular. So much stuff is going on here that is freaking cool. T-Hawks, I believe, is the guy's name. T-Hawks Maps. Let's scoot over here. So Patreon/T-Hawks or T-Hawks. Who's over to the right monitor. You can select membership levels. I find most of my maps from Reddit in the Battlemap section or the D&D map section, and then they just lead me to places. So recent posts by T-Hawks, Crosslands in the Wild. He has a post here that basically tells you that he started a website. There it is right there. Resources, tools, and RPGs. This is my new website. So let's shoot over here for half a second. The maps. Will this take me to his website? Yes, it will. So you can kind of see all of his maps. His style's pretty sweet. I like the contrast in, the grass in the when I look at this map, I'm like, okay, I could cut this out really easy in GIMP or something like that and sort of separate the levels. Like it's well put together so that I know it's going to be easy for me. Here's another easy one to do that would be sweet, would be this crossroads in the wildlands. Might be on my list of things to do. Even this temple in the forest, this elevated temple with this sunken little water. Oh man, what kind of tentacles are going to pop up out of there? He's got a bunch of other neat ones. Windy Canyon. Savage Worlds Deadlands is coming out pretty soon, and I'm going to need some Windy Canyon maps. I'm hoping I can find more of these style of maps, which is freaking sweet. Even this one here, Desert Dragon Lair entrance. Never mind that. This is just some kind of like little crag in the desert, for Deadlands or something like that, which I think is sweet. But this guy's got a bunch of maps and stuff like you can get them cheap. I just, for the purpose of making maps to give out to the public, I just use the free versions. Let's go back to me lovely table, and unfortunately the free versions come pre-gridded. I don't use grids when I play games anyway. Everything is sort of move however many moves or however far you think you need to move to make your cool attempt at whatever it is you're doing. So yeah, that's T-Hawks. Patreon.thawks. I'm gonna take a sip because I got me some pasty mouth. While I load this map, I should say. So let's smash the build button. Then in a second here, I'll show you what I got. Okay, here we go. Finish building. I don't know how I feel about having these rocks here, but I put them in because you'll notice on the base map, if I throw this out of the way, that there's little rocks there. So as I was looking at this map, I was thinking to myself, what kind of an adventure is going to take place on this map? What is going to make this place cool, interesting, and unusual, yet still give my players the some kind of challenge? And so I thought to myself, this map had this little cave in the back, so something's going to spring out of there. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but I put these rocks here because whatever I decide to spring out on them, I want my players to maybe have some cover. Each one of them will be able to hide behind certain rocks. And so I'm thinking, okay, let's put these things on the map. It's probably a good idea to, give them something to hide behind when I'm waylaying them with the natives or something along those lines. But let's get to the beginning of this map. Why am I coming to this place? I love 50 Fathoms. It is just an amazing setting for Savage Worlds, and it's so fun to play. It's basically fantasy, so you're well used to playing it. The difference is you get to say "R" all the time, which is cool. Now, you want to set up an adventure where somebody crashed into this little deal here, Long John Slim sitting at the bar, and he tells you, tries to sell you a treasure map to this place. So you're going to come here. He's like, I found the cove that hides the golden eggs. Unfortunately, me boat smashed upon the shore, and I couldn't carry any of them eggs back, but I mapped her. I swam out to the sea on a raft of timbers that I made. I lost the eggs overboard, something along those lines. But here's what I'm doing. Here's some challenges that you can throw out. On one of the maps I made, I have a map called, I'm not going to pull it out. It's just a boat. So this adventure starts in a town. This is what gave me the idea of creating adventures. There's a really cool map called Brigandy Bay or Booty Bay or something like that. It's like a shantytown pirate kind of a thing. And that can be your starting town where your adventure begins. You buy a map off of a guy in the bar, and as soon as he sells it to you, he disappears. Seconds later, some people jump in and there's like, where's that snake, Long John Slim? He stole me map, and everybody in the bar points to you. Now you've got this expensive map that you've paid for, and your party either has to, well, basically I would make them flee from, or get thrown in jail and have their stuff taken away. I don't know, something like that, right? You got to give them the incentive to run and not just be murder hobos and kill everything. There's a cool opportunity on this map to run a chase scene in Savage Worlds. They can try and get away or something like that. They get on the boat, they make their way out to the waters. They get attacked on the ship by, waylaid by some other pirates. Maybe they're chased down at sea. But the scene or the adventure ends with them here near this cove. This cove's covered in these sharp, jagged rocks that are going to tear their ship up. So in order for them to get to safety, which would be sort of in the middle of the map, they basically all start here on this boat. Excuse me. They all start here on this boat, and then I'm going to do some kind of dramatic task, or I'm going to, require them to make a bunch of rolls in order for them to safely navigate these ragged, jagged, rocky perches and keep their ship from, or their little, rowboat or whatever, from cracking up on the shores, like this one is up here. Once they safely navigate their way through that, do or don't, we can slide their boat over here, and then they disembark on the shore as they make it safely to the shore. But in that instance, you're going to do a thing like let's get some miniatures out here and crack out. Oh, am I in the ICRPG section? I think I went the wrong way. Miniatures. Yeah, where's me miniatures? Paperforge. I have a ton of stuff. You want to attack them with goblins? Bada bing. Maybe there's a cave goblin tribe or something like that. What else we got? Oh, there's a funny one near the end here. Maybe you got some drunken shipwreck sailor, the guy that showed up on this boat. There's a really cool Paperforge mini of this drunk townsfolk guy, right? He's coming out. He's like, "Hey boys, I'm rescued," and he runs out with his mugs of ale or whatever he's got going on here, some kind of meat or some deal. But one of the cool adventures in Savage Worlds is that this guy that you pick up, he was thrown overboard, left to die in a rowboat kind of a thing. He was a mass murderer. So maybe this drunken townsfolk is this sort of mass murderer guy. He comes out smiling. He's been living here for a couple of years. This is where he ended up. You let him on your boat to bring him back to safety. He's super friendly. And, once you get out to sea, all of a sudden people start going missing. Maybe your deckhands start going overboard and you're all like, what's going on kind of a thing. It turns out you've got some super happy psycho drunk townsfolk guy on the comes flying out of that back cave, which could lead to other stories. Maybe he's like, I investigated this island and found a bunch of other cool stuff. Hey boys, let's party. I ain't seen nobody in so long. So just ideas like that. Most likely people are going to put monsters in there, in which case I got a boat ton of monsters. What else was I thinking? We can't really do the weregator. Oh, here we go. Let's crack out this is the island of Medusas, right? Turn your ass to stone, man. We got a bunch of Medusas. We got like a Medusa with the wand. Maybe she's sort of like the head Medusa. Up in the bush here, we got some Medusa archers. Of course, these would all be scaled down to size. Hence the reason that I left the rocks in, because if you start getting picked off from both sides by these archers, these hidden reptilian archers, miniatures, printable heroes. Printable heroes has some really cool snakes as well. I should also actually showcase those. Those guys are freaking fantastic. They do some amazing work. Here's some snakes. Here's some snakes. And this fits right into ICRPG as well, because there is a whole bunch of snake stuff with the Serpent Kingdom and whatnot. So you got some sweet looking sexy snake ladies. Got some snake dudes with scimitars. Maybe you want to throw some spiders in their general direction. This map basically is kind of like an unlimited sort of throw whatever you want, whatever suits your story. Where'd that go to? I don't know where she went. Let's delete some of that crap off the table. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff on the go here. But the gist is that you got to get here because you're trying to get these golden eggs. So that is like another added element to this map. Not only do you have to defeat whatever's going on here or deal with the crazy psychotic guy, but your players need to figure out how to scale up the side of this mountain, which is kind of, steep and dangerous sort of a deal. That maybe they want to climb this tree and jump over, but there really is no sort of safe way to get up. They could take this boat and make a ladder out of it, kind of a thing, and sort of do that, but maybe when they get up there, they get attacked by some kind of giant bird, which is another cool thing that I got, miniatures. I got me some. Paperforge does a bird-like looking deal thing. I can't remember what it's called right now. Harpy. Bada boom. Here's a harpy matriarch. Maybe she's guiding her little deal. So now you've got these, maybe it's a rock or some kind of weird, insert your own crazy gold egg laying critter. And they got to ward off or fend off these things. Everything's protecting the golden eggs from the birds to the maybe whatever critters live on this island, whatever crawls out of this cave, that kind of a stuff, that kind of a thing. So that's what I got for this map. You got a nice little rocky cliff, you fall off to your drowning death, smash your boat, a little bit of a challenge to get into the safety of the bay. Once you're in the safety of the bay and you're on this little area up here, there's a nice setup for, an ambush or whatever. Somebody saw your pirate ship and they're hiding in behind the trees, waiting for you to come in, waiting for your party to land, and they start smashing you. Something along those lines. Something crawls out of this cave and, eats some of your party members. You always got to bring a red shirt so that you can make it super gory. Red shirt. I'm not going to explain the red shirt. So that's what I was thinking for this map. I got a butt ton of ideas going on right now that I want to throw my players at. And so yeah, that's this map. Oh, this is another thing too. Somebody had commented that they don't like the way that this stuff looks. I think this stuff I know it's not the greatest. Ooh, there's my miniature. What I mean, could be better, these little weird looking things. So if this bothers you, I just did it on the one side. You can take like a piece of a thing and change the size of it. If I F8, click on this and I drag it out. Oops, I'm moving it the wrong way. Which way comes out? Green comes out. This is just like a board I found. And if you go to volume scale, which is like F8, it puts these 4 tabs on each one of the sides. You can grab one of these things and you can make it wider, narrower, taller, shorter, whatever it is you need to do. And then just sort of cover up the sides like I did on this map. It doesn't really sort of look that bad on the outside. Gives you sort of a bit of a barrier or a boundary kind of a thing. Just an idea. I think it's time consuming, and these maps don't bother me that much with these weird squiggly things. It's not, you don't really spend a lot of time looking at the outside of the map. You're kind of more looking at the inside. And I think this random coloration, I guess is the word I'm looking for, makes it sort of look a little more natural. And so, yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I think these top levels give the critters that are attacking you an advantage, like always. Lots of stuff going on. Maybe you dock in this little cove too. Who knows what's happening there. So this map will be available. This is another thing I got to get to. Sorry, this is a long video, but I'm trying to explain the things that I see in the comments. Let's clear out of this and actually go to Games Workshop. All of my tables can be found under One World Game Table with images. Let's load this up for a second here. This is the table. Want to find the maps. There's instructions. Hopefully these instructions work. I need to fix a thing, but we're going to end on this. Right click on this. Right here, I will fix this, and I will move this, because that little link right by that hand that I didn't realize was hidden takes you to the second level of maps. There's 2 full maps of tables that you can access if you are unaware. I guess we're going on to round 3, everybody. Evil Bridge right there. What I do is I take a picture of the map so you can be like, okay, I can use that. Here's the bag. Here's the library that I used in one of my last adventures with the spillway. Here's the redone septic systems or sewer systems underneath the city if you wanted to do like a sewer adventure. So yeah, the idea is here's what it looks like. Here's the bag. Nice and simple. There is officially, here's 6 ships with sand instead of water that I did. Somebody was asking about that. We got 1, 2, 3. So there's 6 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. So 42 tables on this. So a combined total of 84 tables. 84 different maps that are pumped out. Here's a druidic temple, mountain monastery, generic taverns. I'm not saying I did all of these. I don't want to take credit for them. This underground bunker was mostly stolen from somewhere and I pieced it together. I did right on there. Slide the top off so that you can see and side. Here's a simple little sandy gorge that my players had to get across. A junkyard that somebody built. All of these things, I find cool maps and I convert them into Tabletop Simulator, which is just an easy way to get them where they need to be. I feel like I'm rambling. What I'm going to do on this table as well is I'm going to put down the 3D grid line tools that I use because people have been starting to ask me about this. I think this is a great tool for for drawing grids. You can change the color. Say I wanted to do a nice bright red one, update grid. Boom. So see that it works out well. You can change the size, the scale, all of that kind of stuff. It is a great one when I do need to do a grid to, size a map or something like that. Also on this map, I will be putting down my Fog of War block. Where is my Fog of War? Which is just a block. I use it to cover up things by using the F8. You can click on it. I can make it bigger. See how this table has all these things on it? My other table doesn't. And then you can pick it up and you can put it over top of stuff. It went into that. But I'm going to put that on here as well. So I will have this map grid thing along with, why does that sound weird? Along with a few other things that I use that are kind of cool. I'm going to start throwing them all on this table so that people can see, because I get a lot of questions like things like my saved light. Let's do light. Lightsaber. Somebody wanted me to share this. I will save the light bar that I actually use. I will drop that on this table too so that you can use it. And I think that's it. I showed you the map, talked about Pete, talked about the new cards, creating adventures. Let me know in the comments if you guys are interested in me assembling some tables or something along those lines. I think I might do videos on that where I will, explain an adventure to you and show you the scenes and what I'm thinking in these adventures, and you guys can take it and make it your own. Maybe put some bullet points down or something like that in a PDF and slap it on the table and make it system generic so that you can, throw down whatever statistics you need for goblins in your games and stuff like that. But I think that's pretty much it. I will fix some things. I will do some things. I will move some stuff. But yes, there is the main tables and the second tables, and there's 80, I guess now 84 different maps. And I fixed them all a couple of weeks ago. So hopefully they all work. I can't guarantee anything. Okay, that's it for this video. Thanks everybody. I'm out.